Oh, hi there. This is Blu-ray Cinema. Hi, everybody. So this is Blu-ray Cinema, and we're talking about today. Like, this is part. No, again, we will continue with from video from last time. It's like Wes Craven movies. What I think about them, how I rank them, all that good shit. Okay. Number 10. Deadly Blessing. Now, it came out in 1981, I believe. And I think the movie's on an Amish farm. Not sure what it's about, but I know it's got Sharon Stone in it, I think. Or somebody else, I don't know. But I know it has something to do on the farm. I don't remember. Did I care? I don't think I really cared for it. I don't know, it has a religious aspect to it. I don't know. I don't remember. So, as my number 10, because I remember it being a little better than the other ones, but I don't remember it as well. But I know I didn't hate it. I know I went okay, but I know I didn't hate it. And that's a good thing. And I know very soon, in a couple months, it's going to go on 4K through Kino. Not Screen Factory anymore, because I think they lost the license to it, but I think you still find the old Blu-ray anyway from Screen Factory, Shout Factory, what have you. Number 9. Now these are ones where it gets interesting, very, very interesting. The Hills Have Eyes. Why is it like higher than 2 than the rest of them? Because it does, and because I like that more than The Last House on the Left, the original 1972. The remake of Last House on the Left is forgettable. You know, they did a modern take years later, but still, that does not have the same impact. Those are the original. So, like I said before, where it's a family who goes out in the desert, camps out in the desert for a while with their Winnebago minivan, and they have their it's a mom and dad, the 2 kids, boy and a girl, a dog, and a grandmother. They meet locals at the gas station to go in the desert, and it's actually based on true story because it actually did happen. It's not fake. It's not like Last Time Left where we think it's real story, and that's not true. No, Hills Have Eyes is true, which tells me it happened in the 60s, some point in the 60s, don't know when. But yes, a group of family cannibals, run by Michael Berryman and other actors, and again, Native American girl that they raised, and basically this cannibal family terrorizes a family vacation desert. Yes, some of them get killed. Some get almost like I can say it, raped, or basically, it's so effed up. I think the dog, put it this way, dog don't get killed, and because the Native American girl, or what you want to call her, what nationality she is, I'm not sure she's Native American, but it looks like she is, but not 100%. I should say that in the last video, but I'm not sure. And so she makes friends with the with the family that's vacationing in the desert, because number 1, they got fix their tires. Number 2, they need a break. So So if you didn't see it, spoilers alert. Mom and dad get killed. Grandma gets killed. And basically, it's brother and sister and the dog fend for themselves. No, with the family member. No, with the girl that's raised by the cannibals, helping this family to survive and get the fuck out of Dodge. It's very good. It's a very tense movie. And people are, is it scary? Yes, in to the fact it's tension. It's Wes Craven. There's there's a creepy factor, but there's also the emotional tense stuff. It's very brutal sometimes, but it's worth the watch. And I believe you still find the Arrow 4K or Arrow Blu-ray. If you can't, you may have to sell for standard if you can find that. Which means without the what we call the hard packs. I don't think you can find the hard pack anymore. The box with the poster and the booklet and the Blu-ray or the 4K and Blu-ray. I don't know if you can find those anymore. You may have to sell for standard edition or just a special edition now. But if you can find it, if somebody willing to, whatever, you may be able to find it. But if you still have an old Blu-ray of it or that from Anchor Bay or whatever, just keep it. Or Dark Sky Films or whoever put that one out. You might as well hold on to it. Just saying, putting it out there. Number 8, which I'm surprised myself, this is number 8, is... Well, actually I got a few of these I'm going to flip around, so... Because I got to change this up. Number 8 is Cursed. Yes, it's the werewolf film. I mean, there's other theme films called Cursed, The Cursed, The Cursed. It's not that. It's none of those. None of the 80s Cursed movies. None of the 2021, which I never saw. None of that. This is Cursed. Came out 26 years ago, 2000. And it stars Christina Ricci. I forget who plays the kid, but I know who it is. Oh, it's Jesse Eisenberg, yeah. And it has, I think, camera by Wes Craven, but it's camera by Scott Bale, and it's got Mike Rosenbaum in it, and a few other people. And basically, it's a woman who works in Hollywood, film producing stuff like that, and her brother, who is like in a high school, almost in college. One night, brother and sister both get bitten by a werewolf, or one of them does, or both of them does, and basically gotta stop that curse. And it changed them little by little, but it's out. But the movie is kind of like half and half for me, because number one, it doesn't know what it's trying to be. It's trying to be not a parody, but is it trying to do a horror comedy, or just horror, or just like mixture of both? And a lot of it is like, I mean, I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a great build up, but I just wonder, is it one of the two, or is it both? Like, is it a mixture of horror comedy, or is it trying to go one or the other? And sometimes I can't tell which. And that's why I don't have it, because I watched a couple times, and even though probably back then, years and years ago, I liked it, but now it's like it holds up, but not to a point where it's a Howling, or it's a Dodge Soldiers, or it's a Ginger Snaps, or it's a you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's there, but to me it's not fully there. But it should be. It's better than a lot of these other films, I can tell you. But yeah, let's hear. Alright, number 6 is probably going to, people are going to hate me for, but it's, I have to change things on my list here, again, the way I want, is Red Eye. Now, I do like the concept of Red Eye. I do. Because it's a great premise where a guy is terrorizing a girl on a plane, and the guy is played by Cillian Murphy. You know his intentions. You know what he's going to do. But it's the tension and drama that works. But for me, it only goes so far, but I think it lasts a little bit too long. The tension, and then towards the end, it's like, at the end, it's kind of like, I don't know if the end just like, it's a last act, just almost like it bails. But then again, I have to watch the ending again to see for sure. So that one I do have to watch again, but I give credit for not being a slasher / gross out horror film. I give it that. This came out in 2005. He wanted to do something more tension. more like a thriller type, like a guy terrorizing a woman in an intense way, in emotional tense way, than in being scared that way, than jump scares, and I do get that, and I do appreciate that. But movie as a whole, I have to rewatch that again. I do. I mean, it's good casting. You got Rachel McAdams, you got Cillian Murphy, and you got good cast. But I have to rewatch that because it's up there. But I gotta see how the film really plays out again. But it's basically 90% of it takes on an airplane. It does. That's and people go, well, that's it. Oh, yeah, that's it. I mean, he made it simple, which I do appreciate. But to me, no. Now, is it too simple? I don't know. But that's my thought about. I don't. I said, why this film I don't hate, except for a few I said in the last video where I just don't care or I don't like because they're barely interchangeable or I don't feel the same I was years ago on them. So I never said I hate them. I never said I did. So you can quote me on that. I don't hate them. There's some of them I don't care for, or like something like Music of Heart, where it just bored me to death. It's not your typical Wes Craven film, which is great, but still. Anybody gonna remember Music of the Heart? Raise your hand, but don't raise your hand, okay? All right, here we go. All right, number 6, Shocker. Now, that should come to no surprise for some people because I like Peter Berg. I like Michael Murphy. I like, oh God. What's his name? Mitch Pileggi. Yep, Mitch Pileggi as the killer in this. And I think it was Christy Swanson in this role. I think so, but I'm not sure. You can let me know in comments below who was the girl in Shocker. But it's good. It works about, a kid, find a killer who killed his parents. And then his girlfriend, and found, this guy, gets sent to electric chair. They see him dead, but somehow he prays to the TV and starts getting, can go through the TV and kill people going through the TV. And people say, wait, that's stupid. Well, normally in a different director it would be, but Wes Craven, it works. It just works. I like it. I find it fun. I find it entertaining. I find it so interesting. I think it's very well done. I think it's very good. And they come out in 1989, folks. That's one which I don't think a lot of people have seen or even know about, is the film Wes Craven in 1987, because I know it came to theaters, because I know I've seen the commercials for it, and I'm glad I have it. It's the only time, and I'll say this again, the only time Bill Pullman ever did a horror film. It's called The Serpent and the Rainbow. And based on a true story about how people become zombies or so drugged up, they're sleepwalking like zombies in Haiti. Where Bill Pullman plays the guy who wrote this book on his experiences. Who played the real guy who wrote a book when he got back from Haiti on his experiences. And it's good, and I don't need to go any further because it's great, it's awesome. And that's real horror there, but what happens to this guy and all this other stuff. So that's real horror, where you're so drugged up and they knock you out and make you feel like you're fucking the Walking Dead, for real. And it happens in the country all the time. And you don't know who you are, but you feel like you're dead, but you're not dead. That's so fucked up. I mean, they might exaggerate some stuff in exaggerate some stuff in the film, and they probably did, but probably not by much. But it's a good fucking film, and I totally recommend that. And I'll review someday, and I'll talk about some more. Okay. Now that was my number 5. Number 4. The one that changed modern horror to what it is now. Changed horror in the mid to late 90s to become what it is today, and it is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Nightmare 7. Where you took the actors Robert Englund, Heather Rampcat, Wes Craven, Robert Shea, in a movie playing themselves while doing like a Freddy movie, but making more feel like, but you're changing the rules, but also acknowledging and not winking at the camera and not bringing the fourth wall. The other rules of Nightmare on Elm Street, and it works. Especially what these actors went through years, and especially what they're going through then in their personal lives, is basically on camera. So your actors, not acting the roles from the original Nightmare on Elm Street, but acting what they are now, but having also like you're bringing it's like bringing the horror back into almost like your reality, but it's not reality, but it is. I can't explain it, but it's, as I said before, said in the last video, it's precursor to Scream, and yes, it is, and it's great, and it's good. And if people who don't like, when Freddy Krueger became almost like a comedian, this one, he's back to a bad ass. Killing, taking names, and doesn't give a fucking crap about it. And that's what people wanted back, and that's what we got back, because Wes Craven worked his ass on this, and it shows. And Robert Englund, works well with Wes Craven, and it shows. So I give big thumbs up or big high marks on that, and I love it. Okay, the third one that a lot of people like, and I love myself. The People Under the Stairs. Okay? Basically, put in a nutshell, poor people defeat the rich by this Afro-American kid helps this girl in a house which is run by a brother and sister who act like a mom and dad, and basically, and at the time this is made in 91, and it's dealing with issues like Reaganomics, because it's basically the poor defeating the rich. And it's like, and the rich are getting too greedy. And that's what the whole film boils down to. That's what the message is, It's Reaganomics, greedy, rich treat people, the poor like shit. That's what the topics they're talking about. So if you've seen the film, you know what I'm saying. I don't have to say any further than that. But it's great. And some of the cast from People Under the Stairs been at horror conventions off and on in horror conventions since like 2015, 16, something around there. I don't know if they do horror convention anymore, but they were before COVID and blah blah blah. Okay. So when I say number 2, I think everybody's going to know what number 1 is. Number 2, Swamp Thing. And I didn't think it would be up that high, but looking at everything, it is. This came out in 1982. Wes Craven's attempt at doing a DC character, DC Comics. And it has Adrian Barbeau in it. It has Louis Jordan in it. It has the one of the actors from Last House on the Left, and possibly The Hills Have Eyes also. And basically, you know what Swamp Thing is? It's about a scientist, like working on something for research or for medical to help in his lab, and and then and then and then this guy, you know, attacks him, and then nearly kills the guy, and and makes him die in the swamp. And the stuff that this guy made gets all of them and turns them into, the big creature swamp thing, where he works with the swamp and stuff around him, the trees, the water, everything. So he looks like a monster, but he's a good guy. He's all muscular and green. There's vines on him, like from the swamp and all kinds of things. So it's a good adaptation of DC comic. And people say, is it better than the show? Well, first of all, I never seen the show, so I can't say it was better than the TV show that came out a couple years ago for 1 or 2 seasons. I think for 1 season. So I don't know. Number 2, it's better. I can tell you this much: it's better than Return of Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is as far as I know, an okay B movie. I haven't seen that one in a long time, but still, I just think the Wes Craven one holds up a lot more. So that's why it's very good. It's B movie. It's like you want to see monsters fight. You want to see a science. Not a mad scientist, but you want to see Adrian Barbeau. What more can you ask for? You can't. It just can't be fun. What more can you ask for? Nothing more than that. So good on that. And that's on 4K and on Blu-ray, but you can't find the Shout Factory one because that's out of print. But you can get the one that came out from MVD like 2 years ago. You still find that on 4K or Blu-ray if you want the 4K. But just putting it out there for y'all. And number 1 is, everybody should know by now, A Nightmare on Elm Street. I want Nightmare on Elm Street for every decision that was made for it with it. Well done at the time. Groundbreaking at the time. Great cast. Great story. Even though it may sell sequels to that film, it's never been duplicated. People tried to do their own version of Nightmare on Elm Street. They tried it with Brain Scan. They tried it with several other films throughout the 80s and 90s. They tried it with, but no one has come close. No one, except for that. No one. They've tried, but they either succeed a little bit, or they didn't succeed at all. But they tried to deliver something that somebody pretty much kind of perfected. I mean, there's other kind of movies similar to Nightmare on Elm Street, or kind of like that thing where it's a dream or isn't, or if it's real, it's not real, but it's a dream still. And and people have films like that, like, is it a dream or is it memories? And it's okay to have some of those movies, is it a dream or not? And that's okay. But on that, do we really need any more? No? No, it's okay. I'm saying, we don't need any more movies like that. We got enough like that, but it works. But when I think about, Wes Craven movies, I think a lot of them are good. A lot of them were, what he did at the time, in the beginning of his career. What I think is, he has a great filmography. Certain times he took chances. Certain times, he did what he thought at the time was good. I knew I knew in the mid-90s horror was, or in the early 90s, I knew horror wasn't going away, but it had like a little period where it looked like it was, because horror films were not making anything or not doing well. And it happens sometimes. You have periods like that sometimes. But as a whole, his filmography is pretty good. Pretty, I mean, when you start making a lot of sequels, that's like, I think, he should got out of that sooner than doing like 4 or 5 screams, but that's me. 1 or 2 would probably been enough. But, but he didn't do sequels a lot, which is good. But he tried every genre I could think of. He tried a little sci-fi. He tried a little, horror comedy. He did a vampire movie. He did a wolf movie. He produced films too, which say, his name Wes Craven's Dracula, blah blah blah. But he didn't direct those. He didn't direct Dracula 3000. He didn't direct, a couple of these films he produced through years, and he did 1 or 2 TV movies, but those don't count. Those were theatrical, and not many people saw his TV movies to begin with. I mean, you can watch them now on streaming or whatever, but that's beside the point. Boy is, great director. I like his film work very much. I appreciate it. And, there's, he'll never be replaced. He never will be replaced. And, and that's what people like about him, because he's one of a kind, and we all appreciate that. But that's it for today's video, and I'll see you on the next. And thank you for enjoying this video, and bye.